morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everyone. Today, we are honored to welcome a remarkable visionary and a change maker, Jim Poole, the CEO and driving force behind NuCalm, with a career spanning healthcare, biotech, and cutting-edge technology. Jim turned a bold patent into a globally accessible neuroacoustic platform that helps us manage stress, improve sleep, and perform at our best. Without medication, he's not just a business luminary, he's a humanitarian recognized with the prestigious President Lifetime Achievement Award for thousands of hours spent creating meaningful impact. From supporting cancer patients and veterans to transforming schools in Kenya, he was raised in a home filled with mindfulness, empathy, where daily practice. Jim brings a compassion, innovation in everything that he does. So without further ado, welcome in Jim Poole. Let's dive into how NuCalm is rewriting the story of stress, recovery, and human potential. Mr. Poole, how are we doing today?
Doing well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We'd love to dive right in. So with your permission, because I know I got a limited time with you, can you just share with our listeners and viewers the origin, the story or the genesis, if you will, of NuCalm, and how the idea kind of morphed into what it's become today, and some of the early challenges or opportunities that you had to overcome to bring it to market?
Back in 1990. So think back to where you were in 1990.
I was 5 years old in Morocco.
You were 5.
To be specific.
All right. I was, I think, 32, maybe 22, living in Boston. Anyway, Dr. Blake Holloway, an esteemed neuroscientist, a naturopath, a quantum physicist, a Rhodes Scholar at Oxford, a gentleman who studied philosophy at the Sorbonne University in Paris and was raised in East Texas oil wealth, began a quest to try to figure out a way, how can I help people that have complex trauma or addiction, or all, how can I help them downregulate their stress response without the use of narcotics? So, in theory, most people aren't even going to understand what that means. And in practice, it took this gentleman 19 years to figure this out. 19 years. Think about that too. When's the last time you did something for 19 years? It's a long, tenacious, persistent trial and error, invention, discovery, wins, losses approach. And here's what happened, Ali. The human brain, your brain, my brain, and everybody's brain is made from the same parts. Hey, you have an amygdala. What a coincidence. So do I. You have a prefrontal cortex. So do I. Well, the frequency range of the human brain oscillates in a range of 41 hertz. And everything we do, our behavior, our mood, our thoughts, are directly correlated to the speed of our brain frequency. And there are 5 categories of brainwave frequency. Delta, theta, and alpha are slow waveforms, and they are in sleep. Beta and gamma are fast frequencies, and they are in action. So the premise here was relatively simple in theory. Blake thought to himself, if I can regulate, literally guide, using natural means, and hold your brainwave function in theta, which is 4 hertz to 7 hertz, your body knows how to heal you. It's our monkey mind and our stress and our cortisol and our worry and our amygdala that get in the way. So this is the concept. In 2009, I am introduced to Dr. Holloway by Dr. Holloway. So he finds out, it's a circuitous story, and I won't get into it depth today, but essentially he found himself an honorable and integrous businessman with compassion, but an ability to take novel concepts and build a business around it. And that would be me. I found in him an exceptionally gifted, tenacious scientist who would not stop until he achieved his quest. So in 2009, We combined forces. In fact, in the experience, in the 10 weeks of getting to know him before I said, I'm in, he said to me one day, you have TBI, traumatic brain injury.
Got it.
And I said, okay. And he said, when you turn 50, you're not going to be able to tie your shoes. And I thought to myself, that doesn't sound really appealing to me. And later on that day, he said, Jim, I'm going to make a gentleman's agreement with you. And he stuck out his hand to me. And he said, I'm going to keep you healthy if you make me wealthy. And that handshake was the beginning of the genesis of this relationship. So it all started with the quest to help people in the trauma brain and in the complex trauma brain and the addiction brain. The physiology changes. You're not who you used to be. The brain shifts, blood flow shifts. There are things that happen in the brain that really make it very difficult for you to self-regulate and to take care of yourself without some help. Furthermore, most people don't even know what happened to their brain. So that's how this all started. It started with saying, hey, you are in trouble. Your brain is not operating the way you want it to, and we're going to help you, and we're going to do it through neuroscience.
Love that. So as detailed as that was for somebody who was fresh off the boat from Morocco, who says, me no English, what is the simplest format that you could describe NuCalm as it is today in an application?
So we've established that your brain oscillates in a frequency range. Yep. Let's get into that a little further. In delta, 0.5 hertz to 4 hertz, it's the slowest waveform. When your brain oscillates in that pattern, you are in dreamless-like deep sleep. There's no debate about this. This is exactly what's happening. When your brain is 4 hertz to 7 hertz, you are in a lucid dream state and your cells are healing. Your cells are cleaning their toxins. Your mitochondria is restored. This is the healing zone of the human biorhythm, and this is why you need to sleep. 8 hertz to 12 hertz is alpha, relaxation, creativity, and falling into sleep. Beta is the broadest range. 12 to 15 hertz is awake, but not overly alert and not overly inspired. 15 to 20 hertz is the learning zone. There's a specific frequency zone associated with learning something, encoding new information, analyzing new information, consolidating that to memory. 20 to 25 hertz is stress. So you come off the boat, 5 years old, you don't speak English. There's a lot of stress going on for a 5-year-old brain, okay? Your frequency's going fast. Your frequency's going fast. Your breath is shallow. You're distracted. You're confused. You're overwhelmed. You're stressed. It's a fast frequency. 25 to 30 hertz is a faster frequency associated with more worry, more stress, more fear, more anxiety, more distraction, more agitation, more overwhelm, more. So it just gets more chaotic. 30 to 38 hertz is pure fight or flight. You are in a state of shock. Things have happened where you literally have no resources. You have no mental capacity as a thinking human being. You are completely mobilized to protect yourself. This is what shock looks like. And if you've ever seen somebody who's in shock, if you look them in the eyes, they'll look like a shark. There is no cognitive availability. Their ears still work. They can hear things. Their brain can't process any information. All of their resources from their brain is mobilized to protect them to stay alive. Now, here's something that's cool. Above 38 hertz, the highest level of fear, is this sweet spot called gamma. 39 to 41 hertz, the highest frequency of human brainwave function, associated with high performance, associated with meditation like monks, associated with increasing your olfactory, your peripheral vision, and activating your musculature, your gross motor cortex, your sensory motor rhythm, puts you in this state of performance. So if that's the landscape, here's what NuCalm is. NuCalm is a software. It has math and it has physics in software. We put music on top of the software. We use headphones to present your brain with a precise series of signals, and your brain happily synchronizes to these signals. So much like an old school thermostat in our homes, where you dial to the left and the temperature went down, or you dial to the right, temperature went up. NuCalm is like a dial that helps you regulate the speed of your brainwave frequency by presenting your brain with patterns using your ears to carry the signal.
I love that. And as somebody who isn't editing, I totally get that. You know, sometimes we have multiple individuals with multiple microphones and we're like, hey, I need the intake to go lower. I need the intake to go higher. I need the master. Like, you're adjusting based on the circumstance that you want the outcome to be in. And that was fascinating. You know, I'll be honest with you. I didn't know much prior to meeting you and the team, or understand, I would say, probably about the technology around neuroacoustics and different things. And then the more I started looking, just kind of understand the marketplace, there's a lot of wannabes, and you know, yeah, we do the same exact way. So you know where I'm going with this. Okay, so help us understand, how does NuCalm's neuroacoustic technology work in the brain, in or at least the approach itself, versus the, oh yeah, I do the same exact thing, because there's a few of them out there that claim, but I would have to say, everywhere that I asked ChatGPT or any OpenAI source or relevant legitimate source, bar none, there's no one that does what NuCalm does. So you can market yourself and say I too, but at the end of the day, the technology is patented and it's extremely, extremely powerful. So help me understand the difference of the approach when it comes to NuCalm versus the rest of the quote unquote relaxation and mindfulness tools that are out there.
So in 1839, a German scientist discovered a concept called binaural beat, or binaural signal processing. And it is fascinating. I have no idea how he discovered this. But essentially, as we all kind of have heard, every action receives a reaction.
Right.
Your brain does not want to be managed. Your brain does not want to be manipulated. Your brain is a closed loop ecosystem. It knows how to take care of you. But we are constantly bombarded by external stimulation and accelerant drinks and alcohol and drugs, whatever is going on, right? So binaural beat is a delivery mechanism to present your brain with a pattern. So say, for example, that I would like to present you with 12 hertz, the beginning of alpha. I'd like you to get into a relaxed, creative state. So to do this, I'm going to use some trickery. Binaural beat is trickery. In the left ear, I'll present 500 hertz, and in the right ear, I'll present 512 hertz. The ears carry the signal through the auditory motor cortex, and then when the brain receives these signals, it says, wait a second, these aren't in synchrony. And the brain naturally subtracts the difference. I mean, this is amazing. The brain's compensatory mechanism, how it compensates for information that doesn't seem synchronous. It says, this isn't good, let's subtract the difference. That is a delivery mechanism of how you present something to the brain. The second way to do this is to use what's called isochronic waveform. So through ambient music, you can imprint patterns that the brain synchronizes to. So these are delivery mechanisms.
I'm literally exhausted, but my brain won't shut up. Until I tried this neuroscience thing, it's called NuCalm, and honestly, I was so skeptical. But you literally just put on this eye mask, open their app with these binaural beats, and within like 10 minutes, my brain finally stops racing. I've tried everything: melatonin, meditation apps, white noise machines, nothing worked. But this actually shifts your brain waves from chaotic to calm. It's like having an off switch for anxiety. I'm genuinely obsessed, and I had to share this.
Binaural beat has been used commercially for years, in fact, decades. And there's companies like HoloSync and the Monroe Institute and the Silver System and the David System and Tomatis. And those are all great. I'm glad that they brought this opportunity to the market. They were not neuroscientists. Okay? Here's the difference. Dr. Holloway wasn't an audiophile that said, wow, this is really cool. Let me build music around this cool concept.
Yeah.
Dr. Holloway was a neuroscientist, and he was thinking 3 or 4 or 5 manifestations ahead. He was thinking 3 or 4 or 5 compensatory things the brain would do. There's something in your brain called the reticular activating system, the RAS. It is the most powerful filter in the world. AI at some point, Ali, may catch up. But today, your brain and my brain and everybody's brain, the reticular activating system is taking the billions of packets of information, billions, coming from your eyes, coming from your ears, coming from your nose, coming from your fingers, okay? And it's determining. Ali doesn't need to think about that right now. Ali doesn't need to know that house is there. Ali doesn't need to pay attention to the color of that car. Once it figures out the pattern, it finds shortcuts. You see, the central nervous system has one defined goal, self-preservation. If I can't keep you alive, I don't really care about Maslow's hierarchy of needs and consciousness because you're not alive.
Yeah.
And so it is constantly evaluating you for familiarity and security. Now, you live in Jersey.
Yes, sir.
There are people in America, the first time they land in New York City and are in Manhattan, it's a place. This place has pavement. It has buildings. It has people. It has cars. It has horns. It has restaurants. It has smells. So why, if I'm just at a place, that night I'm more exhausted than if I'm at a different place? Because the central nervous system needs to find an anchor, needs to find familiarity and security. And with all this stimulation, you get exhausted. The reticular activating system is the reason humans have this experience. And that is, there is no such thing as a second first impression. We've heard this. Sometimes we wish we didn't believe it, but it is true and it will never fail. For example, if you and your wife went out to an amazing dinner next week, and I'm telling you, amazing. The service was amazing. The ambiance was amazing. The parking was amazing. The appetizer was amazing. Everything flowed. It was like just a dream come true event. That night, you're talking about it while you're heading home. That night, you're thinking about it when your head hits the pillow. That night, you're dreaming about it. The next morning, you're like, that was amazing.
You're calling the in-laws and letting them know.
Everything was amazing about it. A week or two goes by, and you're like, you know what? That was such an amazing night. I want to relive that night. I'm going to surprise my lady, and I'm going to get us a reservation. You show up, and you're wholly unimpressed with a disappointment level because it is not anything like the first experience. Because in that first experience, your central nervous system was activating all of your senses to pay attention to every nanosecond of the entirety of the experience. And the reticular activating system was identifying all the patterns. And because the brain is so sophisticated and smart and figures out patterns so quickly, it gets bored. There is no such thing as a second first impression. So Blake understood the importance not just of delivering the pattern to the brain, but what it is I'm delivering must trick the reticular activating system. This is the secret sauce to NuCalm. This is why we have the only patents in the world. We don't have one of 100 patents. We have the only patent in the world. This is why we went through all of the different pieces we've done. But this is why it was a medical device used in surgical procedures. This is why it's used to help cancer patients. There's two fundamental challenges here. Number one, people don't understand that music is simply entertainment and can elevate your mood. Music cannot change my state and put me into theta brainwave function. That is an impossibility. Music cannot put me into a healing state. Music can relax me for a little bit. It can excite me for a little bit. If you go to the gym and you like listening to Eminem and you're doing those curls and you're feeling really good, first song, you're like, yeah. Second song, yeah. Third song, you're like, this is getting boring because your reticular activating system says, you know what? His lyrics all sound the same. The rhythm and the bass line, this is starting to bore me. So music is entertainment and mood elevation. It is not physiologically changing your nervous system. That's number one. Number two, the delivery mechanism is not the importance. So if I were to order a pizza and the pizza delivery boy shows up, I don't eat the pizza delivery boy, Ali. I eat the pizza. So with neuroacoustic software, I don't care how you're delivering to me the message. I want to know what's on the pizza. Blake understood this, and it's probably part of the 19 years of invention why it took so long. So what did he do? He built a matrix. It has pitch and frequency. He built both delivery mechanisms. Our software uses binaural signal processing and isochronic waveform, but the secret sauce is he has a nonlinear oscillating algorithm that's perpetually and dynamically moving all of the time. So say, for example, we have a product called Rescue. Rescue slows down your brainwave function and holds you at 4 hertz, deep theta, for you to heal. This is the product that's been out there for 16 years. This is the product that is the go-to for every human on earth. This is the product that has solved human stress. Take you to 4 hertz. But the pattern specifically is we take you down to 3.9.3, 4.1.2, 3. So it's constantly moving. There's 2 things that have occurred when you put the headphone on. Number one, we activate the reticular activating system. The reticular activating system doesn't select whether it wants to do its job or not. It knows its job. Find the pattern. So guess what? It falls for it every time. And by doing this, it uses all of your mental resources and capacity to try to find the pattern. Now, you've been using Rescue. You will notice in Rescue that your mind is free to wander. And you're thinking to yourself, you know, this is supposed to be like meditative, but my mind's like all over the place. That's the nonlinear oscillating algorithm. We can't control your mind, Ali. This isn't magic.
Right.
We can't control your mind. We're going to allow your mind to go where it wants to go. But when it's in this lucid, weird dream state, it has separated from the control matrix of your body. Your mind in that state is no longer controlling your bodily functions. We must separate your mind from controlling your body. Otherwise, you will never get into a healing state because your body wants cortisol, wants to do your to-do list, and wants adrenaline.
Yeah.
So that's what Blake invented. We have always stood alone. We are the only company in the world that took our technology through the FDA. Class 3 regulated FDA medical device cleared for the treatment of insomnia, anxiety, and depression.
That's
we
amazing.
took our product through Health Canada. We took our product through military approval. We took our product through NSS certified for sport. We spent 5 years studying stage 4 cancer patients versus the Chicago Blackhawks, doing research and science and math and algorithms with Harvard Medical School mathematicians, statistical biophysicists, and NASA mathematicians. We were awarded the only patent in the world for balancing the nervous system of a human being. Nobody has ever come close to what we did, and that was 2015. Then August 2021, we were awarded a second patent for a system and method used to elicit a state change in a human brain. So what we do has always stood alone. Now, you bring up a great point. Follow the science, not the marketing. For 32 of our 35 years, Ali, we were a closed-door neuroscience company. We had big problems to solve. We're trying to figure out how to manage the human brain. It's never been done before. We're trying to figure out, we go from Rescue at 4 hertz. Well, can we go to 0.5 hertz and put you to sleep? Can we go to 7.83 hertz and put you in a creative state? Can we take your brain to 18.4 hertz and put you in focus? Can we elevate you all the way up to 41 hertz and put you in peak performance? It took us 32 years of invention, discovery, trial and error, clinical validation, clinical proof, regulatory, patents. And then finally, in July of 2022, we launched our sixth and final product that now manages the entirety of your 41 hertz frequency range. No one's ever done this. The stuff that's out there is gimmicky. You tell people, well, follow the adage, you get what you pay for. If it's free, it's probably of no value. But, consumers will think and do what they do. But we stand alone as a neuroscience company delivering through a mobile app. We are a neuroscience company first and foremost. Our form factor and how we share our information with you and our science with you is through a mobile app and a headphone.
I love that. Now, let's talk about the relationship between the app, because there are physical products as well. How does it all kind of work together? Do you need the app and the physical products, or depending on the need? I know sometimes you want to have headphones. Sometimes you can just put it on a speaker. Tell me a little bit about the app versus the physical products.
So the binaural signal processing, binaural beat, requires a headphone. Without a headphone, the trickery doesn't work.
Yep.
Isochronic waveform doesn't require a headphone. We ensured that we built all of our products with both delivery mechanisms. Why? Because we can't come to your home and make sure you put headphones on all the time. So here's how this works. There are 6 products. We have Rescue and Power Nap, take you to 4 hertz and heal you. We have Deep Sleep, takes you to 0.5 hertz and puts you to sleep. We have Flow State, takes you to 7.83 hertz and puts you in a creative state. We have Focus, takes you to 18.4 hertz and puts you in a focus state. We have Ignite, takes you to 41 hertz. So those are the products that we use. With a headphone for 5 of the 6 products, it is precise to the minute exactly where your brainwave is. Rescue, Flow State, Power Nap require an eye mask. Why? It's daylight. My brain does not want to take a nap. It's daylight. I don't want to slow down. I have things to do. You cannot get into deep meditation and you do not sleep as a human being with your eyes open. You get too much stimulation through your visual cortex. It is impossible to bring your brainwave function to 4 hertz with your eyes open. Rescue and Power Nap are taking you to 4 hertz. You need an eye mask. The headphone makes sure that there is no escape route for your brain. Remember, your brain does not want to be managed, doesn't want to be tricked.
Such a rebel.
It's a rebel. It's an autonomous kind of, it's a loner. Yeah. It's a loner. Okay. If I put headphones on and an eye mask, the precision and specificity of the matrix is so incredible to me. We know every human being on earth. In 5 minutes of Rescue 20, you're at 4 hertz. In 8 minutes at Rescue 30, you're at 4 hertz. This is incredible. This is the strength of what Dr. Holloway invented with the software. The software is profound. Your brain is more profound. We're bringing 250 megabytes to almost 3 gigabytes of mathematics in software underneath music.
Push your limits. Every second counts. Every heartbeat matters. Elite performance demands more than strength. It requires rapid recovery. Introducing NuCalm, the first and only patented neuroscience system for stress and sleep. NuCalm's all-natural technology guides your mind and body into deep relaxation, fast. No drugs, no side effects, just science-backed recovery for everyday warriors and world-class athletes. Feel the transformation. Tense muscles relax, stress melts away, and you recover faster.
NuCalm balances your autonomic nervous system, helping you reset, recharge, and rise above. Experience the future of recovery. Try NuCalm free at NuCalm.com.
So for deep sleep, you don't need a headphone. Now, why is that? We didn't want to impose and create an inconvenience for consumers. It took us 9 years to invent deep sleep because we didn't want you to have to wear a headphone to bed. You only need to look at CPAP to see the low level of compliance. People aren't going to do that. So deep sleep is the only product that doesn't require anything but a speaker. You put it on and we put you to sleep. Flow state, power nap, rescue require an eye mask and a headphone. Then you get into the action oriented. We don't need an iPhone for focus, and an eye mask for focus, and we don't need an eye mask for ignite. Why? Because we're not taking you against the inertia of your brain.
Yeah.
Your brain's awake. Hey, man, let's go. I put a headphone on, and within a few minutes, the precision of the signals, I'm at 18.4 hertz with focus, and I'm concentrating at a level I'm not used to. I don't have distractions in my brain. I'm highly effective and efficient, and my intentions are spot on. I'm laser focused. For Ignite, we amplify and elevate you, and within 13 minutes, you are literally just completely ready to perform at your highest level. Whether it's a boardroom performance, whether you're running or you're exercising, doesn't matter. Any performance, we put you in a peak state. We don't need an eye mask for that, but we do need the headphones.
Beautiful. And ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, you can get a free trial right now as we speak at NuCalm.com, and you can get your exclusive free trial so you can experience what you're hearing about right now. Plus, very soon, there is an assessment that's going to be available for everyone. So you can test where you are, stress level, and then you can measure on an ongoing basis. Would you mind elaborating about the assessment itself and what should we expect from that?
Some years ago, I wouldn't call us erudite and I wouldn't call us stuffy, but we're a neuroscience company. So accuracy of data means something to us. Probably 12 or 13 years ago, you started seeing the advent of things like Fitbit and these quantified measurement tools.
Yeah.
And, it's interesting because intuitively, you know your body better than a tool. So if you don't sleep well tonight, tomorrow morning, you don't need a tool to say, hey, you didn't sleep well. You know. But we become reliant on some kind of quantified measurement. Fine. There are gizmos and gadgets with rings on your fingers and wristwatches and all these things you can do. They trade off accuracy for convenience. We've never brought any of that information into our world. We believe in accuracy. Convenience, okay. Our research, beginning in 2011 with Harvard Medical School and NASA, stage 4 cancer, Chicago Blackhawks, and then just thousands and thousands of people, was like this. How do we measure the stress of a human being? It used to be something called galvanic skin response, which measures the electrophoresis, the change in your skin. This is a lie detector test, but it's not very predictable, and it can be tricked. Dr. Chung Kang Pang, C.K. Pang at Harvard Medical School, is known as a world-renowned leader in HRV, heart rate variability. Heart rate variability measures the interstitial chaos between each heartbeat. You would think a rhythmic pattern is good. No, you want as much complexity between the beat as possible. To measure this, I cannot get this measurement from a ring on my finger. So, I need millions of data points.
Thank you. I'm just going to go ahead and say it, and team is going to censor me on this one. There's a lot of bullshit out there.
Yes.
Let's just call it for what it is. I know what you're referring to, and I cannot tell you how many, because look, I get a lot of clients and companies that come and help us. I'm like, okay, I have to believe in what you have in order to put my face and my name next to you. And when I ask, how can you tell me what my body needs by putting a ring around my finger? Because I understand you can get some data from this part of my body, but how do you know about the rest of my body? So I appreciate you bringing some light to this. Please proceed.
Heart rate variability requires millions of data points. And we do something called frequency domain. Frequency domain. So here's what we did from 2011 to 2015. You would have to take off your shirt. That's inconvenient. You'd have to put a single lead ECG device on your heart. So we are getting precise millions of data points from your heart. You would sit there for 5 minutes before you did NuCalm. Then you do your NuCalm rescue. You might be in there for 30 or 40 minutes. Then 5 minutes after, you do the NuCalm. We take the single lead ECG device off your chest. We plugged it into a computer and we sent this raw data, millions of data points, to Dr. Chung Keng Peng's team at Harvard. He took all of these data points and he filtered them through what's called the Hilbert-Huang transform algorithm. If it sounds complex, it is. And the complexity of that algorithm took frequency analysis and pushed out a highly specific, precise measurement of you at that moment. And it showed what's called sympathovagal balance, the balance between my sympathetic nervous system, which is my stress response, and the parasympathetic nervous system, which is my rest response. It showed the interstitial chaos between my heartbeat, and it showed my body's resilience and my nervous system health. That's what we did for 5 years. We became experts in studying HRV and other quantified measures to showcase the autonomic nervous system and the strength of our nervous system. We were never going to join forces with companies that are a gizmo or a gadget and proffering inaccurate data. We're not going to do that. We're a neuroscience company and we stand behind that accuracy. So through your voice, you can capture millions of data points. It seems mythical. It's certainly ethereal. I can't see my voice. I can hear it. But if your mom is still alive and you called her right now and she's histrionic and panicked, within a nanosecond, you know this. If she's elated and can't wait to share something exciting with you, within a nanosecond, you know this.
Yep.
Your voice is an expression, a direct expression and amplification of your nervous system. How? The autonomic nervous system, sympathetic nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system, stress response, rest response, is managed. The communication pathway is the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the longest nerve in the body. The vagus nerve just so happens to be connected to your vocal cords and your voice box through the laryngeal nerve. You cannot lie with your voice. This is a direct amplification of my nervous system with exceptional precision. So this is a mind boggler. In a 35-second voice capture, we capture more than 1 million data points.
That is crazy.
We specifically analyze over 10,000 data points, looking at frequency distortion, amplitudes of the waveform, pitch, intonation, all of these elements. What we're looking for is outliers. We're looking for when the norm looks like this and yours like this, or the norm looks like this and you're down here.
Mm-hmm.
You could take a blood test. You could take a neurotransmitter panel. You could take a stool sample. You could do a PET scan. You could do an fMRI. You could do a CT scan. You can combine all of that data with your doctor, and you would still not get more precise measurement than what we can do in 35 seconds as a direct amplification and precise measurement of the health of your nervous system and the resilience of you as a human being through 35 seconds. So yes, we're pretty freaking excited to be delivering now the highest grade of precision, accuracy, and sensitive measurement of you. It's personal, it's powerful, and it's easy. So 35 seconds, you speak into it, and it analyzes your voice, and it comes back with a number between 0 and 100. And it has red, that's not good, Orange, that's not good either. Yellow, it's better, but it's not good. Light green and green. You want to be 85 to 100. That tells me, wow, your nervous system's doing well. See, people don't understand the nervous system. They don't know that when they're diseased, when they're recovering from a wound, when they're inflamed, everything starts with your nervous system. The ability to regulate your nervous system is the foundation to begin to heal. If your nervous system is out of balance, you're faking it till you make it. And you're probably not going to make it.
You're putting a smiley face on that dashboard, engine light on, and you're like, just put a smiley face. No one is seeing this.
Yes. Or how do I turn that engine light off? Not fix it, but how do I just turn that off? So this is a really cool kind of closed loop ecosystem, what we've been doing. So you think about this, Ali. We've built the perfect solution to balance your nervous system. Yeah. But we've had to rely on your intuition as a human. Now, stage 4 cancer, if you stay alive for several years, okay, I see how that worked. I see how you solved my stress. You gave me restorative sleep. My nervous system is balanced. My body can heal. My resilience is better. My inflammation is lower. I get it. Professional athlete, I recovered from that injury faster. I get all that. But this is so exciting for us now to have an immediate, accurate, quantified measurement of the impact we're having on you. And so you get that score, and after the score, it tells you, hey, you're at 82. We recommend doing a, rescue 30 at least 5 times this week and deep sleep at night, and your score will improve. You can do this before and after anything you want. This isn't just for NuCalm. This is for anything you do. Meditation, yoga, Tai Chi, breath work. You will see the immediacy of the impact that this has. Now, here's a fascinating nuance, and this is pretty deep into the complexities of what we do, but check this out. You can do before and after NuCalm with the voice. And it might be, you go from 87 to 91. And it's been fascinating to see that people are sending us scores all the time, and the stories are fascinating, and it's awesome. But you could check your score an hour later. Because
just an hour
or 2 hours later.
All right.
So when you're thinking NuCalm, you think of a tuning fork, and think of your body, all your organs, your muscles, your skeleton, everything in your body. Everything wants to get into harmony. It's rarely ever there, if ever there. NuCalm comes in and promotes this harmonious vibration and tries to get the synchrony. And so after you do NuCalm Rescue, it's still integrating. So for the next hour, next 2 hours, your nervous system is still improving. That's amazing. Fascinating to me. Yeah. So this tool is amazing. It's already been deployed amongst military and FBI for commanding officers to evaluate the mission readiness of their operators before they deploy. It's being used in the veteran community to assess, how are you doing today? It's being used in pharmacies, point of purchase. You show up for your prescription. Hey, Betty Lou, would you like to test your nervous system? See how you're doing. It's in hotels now. You fly in internationally, you show up, you're jet lagged. Hey, would you like to test your nervous system? 35 seconds later, it's right there for you.
Versions of the same night. One path leads to exhaustion.
NuCalm gave me my peace back. After years of sleepless nights, I finally found calm.
Between work and kids, I was drowning in stress. NuCalm became my reset button.
I use it before big presentations. It's like meditation on demand.
The other leads to this, NuCalm, clinically proven neuroscience technology, because peace of mind is priceless. Visit NuCalm.com or download the app today.
That's amazing. And one thing that you were talking about earlier about the different tests that you can take, the CAT scan, the PET scan, the stool sample, do you know how much more you're actually spending in the inconvenience and the appointments and the driving and all that kind of stuff that you are eliminating with what NuCalm is doing? So you're talking about thousands of dollars that are saved, and you're talking about the ultimate convenience as well.
Precision, accuracy, saving money, saving time. I'm a guy. Guys are kind of notorious for not going to their medical appointments. In fact, I canceled and rescheduled them recently. I don't think in my life, even I've had a lot of injuries because of sports. I don't think I've ever collectively done and followed the rules or the recommendations of any of my doctors anyway. So not only is there a compliance issue, but the expense and the insurance expense for sure, but also the time off.
Yeah,
I have to schedule
absolutely.
around that, go and do the CAT scan or do the PET scan or fMRI or the stool sample, all whatever it is.
My primary doctor, Dr. Ane, if you listen to this, I love you. I'm not taking a dig. She says to me, because 2 days ago I had my annual, she goes like, you know what the word annual means? I was like, yeah, like once a year. She was like, so why do you come every 2 years? I'm like, I guilty of charge.
Let me share with you something that's going to make you look like a hero.
Oh my
Dr.
goodness.
Holloway was my personal doctor. I hadn't seen a doctor in 12 years.
Wow. Hey, you look amazing, man. You look amazing.
12 years. They were like,
Yeah.
where you been? I said, I've been helped by a genius naturopath quantum physicist. I'm good. I'm good.
And ladies and gentlemen, understand that this information is based on Jim Poole and his personal experience and the people that he's working with. Obviously, we are not telling you to skip anything. You do what's right for you, obviously, with the recommendation of a medical professional. I gotta say that. You know me well, Jim. Gotta make sure I give a, before legal team calls me annual, like, hey, you need to slap the compliance in there. But you've worked with athletes and professional sports teams and FBI and all these different amazing profiles. Give me one or two of your most favorite, I guess, testimony of transformation that you've witnessed, if you have a top one or two.
Typically that it generates a lot of compassion and makes my heart feel warm. And it makes me feel really gifted and proud to do what we do. Stage 4 cancer is the most profound impact we have.
Yeah.
Every month, I work directly with Dr. Janet Ranicky, Dr. Michael Gallitzer, Dr. Rao at the Comprehensive Cancer Wellness Program. Every month since October of 2011. Every month, I get introduced to people that have been told by their medical oncologist, go home and get your affairs in order. The end of your life's coming. And every month, I get to introduce a gift. I get to play Santa Claus, and I get to say, listen, I'm going to give you 2 things that you don't get right now. Number 1, peace of mind. When's the last time your monkey mind wasn't corrupting you with fear and anxiety and stress and distraction? Raise your hand if you'd like the ability to meditate like a monk without having to learn how to meditate. Their hands go up. Mm-hmm. Raise your hand if you'd like to sleep well tonight, where you actually wake up in the morning feeling like you slept. They raise their hand. So we're going to give the gift to you of solving your stress and giving you restorative sleep. Because in this time of need, when your body is fighting, you need this the most. But ironically, because of the amygdala, because of fear, because when you're diagnosed with cancer, because when you are radiated, when you're poisoned by chemotherapy, when you're cut open, your body is getting destroyed. You can't really regulate that. If I ask you to meditate, you're not going to be able to. Yeah. The amygdala in your fight or flight center is far too strong and it's far too scared to relinquish control. So I'm going to give you this gift. And all you have to do is use rescue once a day, twice a day if you're having a bad day. Headphone, eye mask, safe, comfortable place, and just meditate like a monk with no effort. And then at night with a speaker in your bedroom, put on deep sleep. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is going to keep you alive. We're not curing cancer with NuCalm. Your body is fully capable of doing that. But when you get diagnosed with cancer, you are consumed with fear and stress and anxiety and worry, and it compromises your sleep. And all of this is a negative consequence of high stress and poor sleep, which accelerates the disease itself. So I can look in the face of someone who's demoralized. I just spoke to someone last Tuesday who said, I've been told I'm dying this Friday. What do you say to that? You're like, no, You're not. You're not dying this Friday. You are going to live. And this gift is a facilitator to allow your body to do its job. So that is the most profound experience that we ever have. I get the most joy out of it. I can give someone hope, but have the confidence to know. I say, Jen and I know something that you don't. We're going to keep you alive. You're going to thrive. In January of this year, before I started my talk, Dr. Ranicky said, Jim, we have a special guest today. I said, great. And she introduced her. And she said, do you remember her? I said, yes. She said she was at our first program in October of 2014. And she was told she has 3 months to live 11 years ago. How incredible is that?
That's the story you want to hear.
You learn the most from the extremes. But that work that we can do and give people the opportunity to live and thrive, that's amazing.
Yeah.
On a parallel path, Ali, it's the veterans. It's the people that have sacrificed more than they expected to. I think when a kid, 18 years old, joins the military, they don't know. Of course they don't. What did we know at 18? We felt we were immortal. We wanted to do something. We didn't know that maybe we get deployed and maybe our brain sees things that it can't reconcile. Maybe things happen to us. Maybe we have a TBI, a traumatic brain injury. We don't know the sacrifices we're going to do, but when we come back from war, we are not the same. We don't understand what happened. We're filled with shame and confusion and fear and agitation. We want to be normal again. We want to be back in command of who we are. We don't want to be reactionary to little stimulus. We find solace in drinking or recreational drugs. Why? Because our brain knows, you know what? Have that sip of alcohol, Jim, because you had a really terrible day and we've got to get out of this pain. It's eating us up. We'll deal with that tomorrow. That's the genesis of alcoholism. So we get to do the same thing. I get to look into the eyes. I just did this on Tuesday. I get to look into the eyes of veterans and I say, I know that you've been given a lot of different gizmos and gadgets and narcotics and stimulation devices, and I know they're not working. I know this. But with NuCalm, you have something that's patented and clinically proven. So it's not a sample size of one. We know what this can do for you. But in NuCalm, you have two things that are really important. One, we were built for trauma. That's the whole reason we came to existence. And number two, we can do no harm. Everybody wants to ask me, how long before I'm back to normal? And I have no answer for that. I don't know your epigenetics. I don't know your nutrition. I don't know your support team. I don't know any of those elements. But what I do know is that every day you do rescue and every night you do deep sleep, you're going to begin to heal because we're balancing your nervous system. And even more importantly, and this is fascinating, we're separating the memory from the anxiety that you feel when you think about the memory of something that you can't reconcile. So say your buddy has his head blown off right next to you. You live. Your brain doesn't reconcile that.
Yeah.
It's not programmed to understand that. That lives with you. And what happens in trauma is blood flow is diminished to the hippocampus and the prefrontal cortex. The hippocampus is your memory center. Your forehead is your cognition. So when blood flow is restricted there, you're stuck in this pattern of this memory, and it elicits that same fear response all the time, even when you're sleeping. But the more your brain is in theta, your brain cannot elicit an anxious physiological response. I cannot feel anxiety when I'm in theta, but my mind is open to have the memory. And so the more we do this, we separate the memory from the body's anxious response. And what we do is we create what's called neuronal coherence. We stitch new memory patterns and new cognition to the old memory, and we separate that. And when it's separated, you heal from the trauma.
I love it. I love it. You know, you talked about already different demographics and different individuals, but while I do know that the whole world needs to be leveraging and using NuCalm, and I do have to say, you know, everything that you shared with us today, for an average individual, a day to day, it may seem like, oh man, I got to learn all this stuff, but you know, we don't. We just got to put a headphone on, or we just got to press a button and listen. And that is what I am extremely grateful for, because you've simplified everything that you shared with us and educated us on in a simple press a button, something that we are already doing right now in our society. You know, I got a buddy of mine, Jamari James from Atlanta, former football player, and he would always say, ignorance is $1 billion industry. And I couldn't agree with him more, because, you know, usually there is one or a few individuals that will be like, man, I don't know about all that stuff, right? The skepticism or the lack of or willingness to want to do something about yourself. It's like, you know, I'm a former smoker, quit 13 years ago. And
Wow.
I'll never forget when I cold turkey made a decision with my 5 friends, the circle. And my wife hated the fact that I would smoke. And, you know, it was my birthday. I'll never forget, my 27th birthday. You know, I'm like, hey, give me a cigarette. He's like, you crazy? Your wife is going to kill me. I'm like, come on, it's my birthday. We're in the backyard. Just give me one. I light it up. And yes, who's walking by? My wife. She's like, come on, Ali. I'm like, babe, last one I will ever smoke. Now, that was me being macho man, vibrato, right? I've never touched a cigarette ever since, but I'll never forget that birthday. And here's why. For the remainder of the time that we hang out by the pool, every 2 seconds, one of them will light up a cigarette and be like, you want another one? You want another one? And what it told me is it's the crab effect, right? Where one is deciding, I am now going to become better. I will smell better. I will heal my lungs. The smokers around are not happy that, we're about to be the bad ones because he's cleaning up, right? So there's a lot of that. How do we address, because there are a lot of people who are going to want to be part of their healing, leveraging NuCalm. What is your message to them as far as stay focused, ignore, no pun intended, but ignore the noise and focus on the sound that NuCalm is providing for you?
Well, first of all, congratulations. And secondly, you know, there's adages that have transcended generations. Well, people that created these adages weren't dumb. They experienced life. So if they say misery loves company, what are they saying? Exactly what your 4 friends who are still smoking thought. Okay? We don't want you to lose. Now, they may not have been jealous or been like, he's not better than us, but they were envious that you were going to actually live longer, be safer. Smoking kills people. I've lost the pathological optimism that I can impose my will on another adult, a free will thinking adult. Humans in our resilience and humans in our ability and capacity to live, we normalize dysfunction. How do we do that? The reticular activating system. We can normalize very, very corrupt life experiences, and they become the norm. They become comfortable, familiarity and security. One of the sickest examples of this, and this is disgusting, sex trafficking. A victim can be removed from sex trafficking. You have 6 weeks to begin the healing process of that human being, or there's a high likelihood they will go back to their abuser on their own free will.
Wow.
Because it is comfortable, it is familiar, and it is secure. There are people, when given a diagnosis, anchor their personality and their place in the world by the diagnosis. When you meet those people, I feel sad for them. I don't know that I can help them because now they have to change who they are, who they perceive themselves to be in the world. So what I do, Ali, is I tell you what's possible, but I start with high level. Ali, how you doing with sleep? It's a rhetorical question. I know you're not doing well. Nobody is. And you're going to say, not too well. How you doing with stress? I do okay. How would you like to have access to what used to be an FDA Class 3 regulated medical device and used to be $6,000? This device was exclusively available only to elite military, Navy SEALs, Special Forces, the FBI Hostage Rescue Team, pilots, professional athletes, and doctors. But now is available to you through a mobile app and a monthly subscription. That's all I tell them. And everybody says, yes, I'd like that. I don't tell them the science we just discussed. I say, listen, humans they're bright and they're survivalists. We today rely on external stimulation to modulate our mood, our thoughts, and our behavior. We're not even aware of this. This is common. This is how I live. So if I want to amplify my brainwave function and think faster, I have espresso, Red Bull, Monster Energy, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, you name it. If I'm in psychic pain, I might have a glass of wine. People engage in recreational drugs, psilocybin, CBD, THC. If I feel anxious, I take anti-anxiety. If I feel depressed, I take antidepressants. If I have trouble sleeping, I take Ambien. Okay, but there's a different way. You can literally change your state by simply using headphones and a mobile app. And you get to select how you want to feel. This technology can put you to sleep in the next 7 minutes. We could put you to sleep on air right now. Headphone, deep sleep, you're done. We can put you meditating like a monk, where you're probably going to start snoring on film in 4 minutes. Eye mask, headphone. I snore every time I do rescue. It's the most bizarre thing. I'm not sleeping. I'm in a lucid dream state. I love to NuCalm with my wife on the weekends. I do 20-minute rescue or 30-minute rescue. And when we get up, I say, how was your NuCalm? And she said, you started snoring as soon as you press start. And I say, that doesn't make sense. I wasn't sleeping. Then I go downstairs and my daughter says, I could hear you snoring the whole time. What? But it happens every time. We can elevate you to focus or ignite. So if you would like to feel better, if you would like to be more patient, if you would like to be able to respond to things that stress you out as opposed to react, if you would like to have less conversations going on behind your eyes, if you'd like to have more breath and peace of mind, if you'd like to be present with your loved ones, actually hear them, listen to them, pay attention to them, feel love and gratitude and joy, if you'd like to live a long life and perform well, if you'd like health, wealth, and wisdom, the NuCalm is a tool that can help you. It's simply math and physics. It doesn't discriminate. We know something you don't. Stress is going to be at your front door every morning of every day for the rest of your life. Stress doesn't take a holiday. So use this tool to manage that aspect of your life and sleep well. Because when you are stress-free and you sleep well, your life is amazing. And if that's important to you, we've got a simple solution.
I love it. I'm excited about it. You've given me so many ideas. I'm thinking about like a date night NuCalm with my wife. You know, hey, before we get the candles and Netflix, we need to NuCalm for a little bit. You know,
Always.
I feel like a date night will be a little bit more fun when you remove the stress of the day. You know, where it's no longer about stress release and more about just living in the moment. And I'm actually really looking forward to that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it here in this exclusive, and this is the very first of many series on all things NuCalm that I'm super excited to collaborate with, to bring to market, to let all of my influencer friends. You're going to need this in your life, and not only from a business opportunity, right? Like let's put the money aside, let's put develop in the marketplace, but imagine everyone around us just becoming less stressful, becoming happier, becoming calmer, having just more clarity. And you, the fellow entrepreneur, and that's the majority of my audience, imagine how much better you could do if you had that clarity, if you were able to implement the best version of yourself and all that is that you do. So Mr. Poole, Jim.
Ali.
Yes, sir.
On that point, Tony Robbins using NuCalm every day for 11 years. Ben Greenfield, Jim Quick, Luke Story, Mario Hemingway, the Special Forces of the United States military, the Navy SEALs, the FBI Hostage Rescue Team, the FedEx pilots, 78 professional sports teams, the Golden State Warriors, the Washington Capitals, the Chicago Blackhawks, They've been using this for years. Welcome to the family, and it'll improve your experience too. So if they're using this and leveraging this every single day for exactly what you just said, then why shouldn't the rest of us have that access? And that's what we're doing
Add
here.
Ali Mehdaoui into that list, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go.
Ali
Jim
Mehdaoui, NuCalmer.
the CEO and driving force behind NuCalm. We appreciate you and thank you. And until next time, have a blessed day, boss. We'll see you soon.
Imagine a world where wellness is effortless. It's here and it's now. Introducing NuCalm, the FDA-approved breakthrough changing lives. For every age, every lifestyle, NuCalm fits you perfectly. Athletes recover faster, professionals recharge, parents finally rest. Backed by science, NuCalm calms your nervous system, naturally. Experience deep sleep, stress relief, and total peace night after night. Calm is your superpower. Visit NuCalm.com and transform your life today.